Hey, Chipola Nation, I'm Rob.
I'm Smitty.
And we want to welcome you to Chipola's fifth quarter podcast. As always, be sure to check out the right side of your screen for information regarding resources that Chipola offers, classes. I believe summer's coming up, Smitty, summer term. So if you're new, go ahead and put in an application, try to get all that taken care of. And be sure to just show a little love and support. We also want to thank the awesome media team for the work they put in and for you, the fans, who make this podcast such a huge success.
We got programs for almost anything here, so you got no excuse.
Yep, no excuse. We cover a wide range of subjects here. So be sure to check out the website. It has plenty more information. And as always, thank you guys for supporting this podcast. We could not do this without you guys and with the awesome media team and the work that they do here. Smitty, draft is tomorrow, man.
Ooh.
Like, I've been nervous. We have been, and we've talked about this, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Draft's coming up. I'm getting excited. I got goosebumps right now. The energy's flowing. So let's go ahead and
I
talk.
thought that was sweat, but
Put deodorant on, but anyway,
Okay.
anyway, don't get me to put my personal hygiene habits on camera. Like,
hey, I'm just calling it like I see it.
I'm gonna have the director cut that. Anyway, shame on you. So the draft's coming up. We know who's got the number one pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's no surprise. Jacksonville again. It seems to be like a revolving door with Jacksonville in the number one pick. They had Trevor Lawrence. What was it, last year, the year before? So Jacksonville is always going to be the topic of conversation when it comes to the draft and a top number one pick. For those that don't understand professional football, we just want to quickly explain what determines whether or not a team gets the number one pick every year in the draft. It really factors in their record, Smitty? Am I saying that right? So
Yes.
if you have a one-win record and the rest are like several losses, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get like a first-round pick, whether it's the first pick overall or the second pick in the first round. Smitty, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, that's pretty much straightforward. I mean, if you didn't do so good this season, more chances than not, you're going to get the first pick.
So, in other words, we don't mean to say this, but basically the NFL is rewarding the worst team with the first overall pick.
I mean, to be fair, it gives them a chance to
This is true.
come back. I mean, look at Cleveland back in 2017. I mean, 2017 season, I believe they went 0-16.
But fun fact, did you know that the Cleveland Browns are the only team to never play in or host a Super Bowl?
That's sad. It really is.
Well, their stadium anyway.
Well, to be fair, it is Cleveland.
Anyway, let's get into this before we get off topic, because I'm trying to stick to my talking points in my script here. Eric's going to have a lot to edit if we don't stop. So, first pick of the draft, Jacksonville's got the number one pick, and what we know so far, their top needs are they need a linebacker, an offensive lineman, and a wide receiver. So, you're looking at two skill positions, one offense, one defense, and then you're looking at offensive lineman. Offensive lineman is no less important, but nonetheless, Jacksonville has the number one pick. So, this is what we know. Smitty, I did a little mock draft. I just did the top 10 picks in the first round.
Okay.
So we're going to kind of roll through these very quickly for time's sake, and you feel free to stop me if you have any rebuttals or any disagreements. So what I've told you, linebacker, offensive lineman, and a wide receiver. Now, I listed those in order by order of importance. So we know Jacksonville needs a linebacker. So, Smitty, surprisingly, I know the mock drafts at CBS, ESPN have predicted Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive end out of Michigan, I believe. They predicted him to go number one overall. But when we look at what Jacksonville needs in terms of a linebacker, offensive lineman, and a wide receiver, I had them picking Nakobe Dean, the senior out of Georgia, coming off the national championship run, beating Bama this past season, arguably probably one of the better linebackers in this draft, had the highest grade. Now, I know that doesn't always mean, Smitty, that because you have the highest grade doesn't mean you're going to be the best prospect in the draft. But what I'm trying to explain to the fans out there is, because I know some of y'all are going to be watching this, go, out of all the people you could pick, you go Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. Why? There's plenty of other prospects. Of course there was. But hear me out. He was the highest rated prospect in the linebacker position in this 2022 recruiting or draft prospect class. So if Jacksonville sticks to their guns and they say, okay, we really need to draft a linebacker, I go Nakobe Dean.
Okay. What was his stats for this?
I do not have his stats, Smitty.
Okay. Well, here's why people want Aiden. They want Aiden Hutchinson for the Jaguars for top pick.
Okay.
He's dangerous. He's a dangerous edge pass rusher.
Okay.
Mainly for starters. He's good. He's good at the get off. He has a variety of pass rushing moves.
Okay.
Very disruptive. His assignment ability to comprehend where he needs to be.
Okay.
It's completely sound, and I think he is a better fit for the Jacksonville Jaguars as a team concept, team composition. And it really helps that he's been balling throughout the entire stint at Michigan. 13 tackles, a pass batted in one of the top games, probably against Ohio State of all teams.
Okay,
and all that.
But
So
correct me if I'm wrong. If I may just stop you there, wasn't it Michigan that faced Georgia? Was it the Orange Bowl playoff game this past season?
Michigan thought they were hungry, but in playing devil's advocate,
Okay.
Georgia really wanted to get back at Bama. I mean, they were hungry.
Which moves me to my next point. If you had Aiden Hutchinson and Nakobe Dean in the same room, which one would you really take? And I want you to be honest. Now we're talking about the Michigan Wolverines in their current form of 2021, and we're talking about the Georgia Bulldogs that were in their current form of 2021. Which defense really rose to the occasion when it mattered most?
When it mattered most?
When it mattered most.
Obviously, for that question, it will be Alabama. But I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are seeing Adrian Hutchinson for a better fit for their scheme.
Okay. Before we move on to pick number 2, I would just have to say some of y'all may agree with this, and that's okay. That's what this show's about. We all have our opinions, and we have different views about it. I would just have to say, Smitty, that Aiden Hutchinson, he would be a wasted pick for Jacksonville considering how that's not their first priority on their needs list here.
Right.
As according to the NFL website, that's not their top need. They need a linebacker, offensive lineman, or a wide receiver. I'm just saying, if I'm at the front office in Jacksonville, I'm thinking, let's go linebacker. Let's try to beef up that defense because 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars are probably the biggest disappointment. And that's just my personal opinion because you go from having one of the top defenses in the NFL, making it all the way to the AFC Championship game, as we've talked about before, and then you literally regress the next 2 to 3 years, and you get rid of all those good players. So I'm thinking, why not start on the defensive side of the ball? Because what is the old saying? We've said it before. Defense wins championships. Why not get your defense built up? You already got a quarterback in Lawrence.
That's always been a good concept to build a team around. But the past two NFL seasons so far, defense has been sidelined. I mean, it's been an aerial battle. I mean, in the offense. I mean,
well, the NFL offenses are getting a little more creative these days, to be fair, and you see them airing the ball out a lot more. Like back in the day when we were kids, like it used to be just run the ball, run
people over.
Yeah, run people over. I mean, but gone are the days of Bo Jackson, Barry Sanders, and guys like that. Monday Night Football, the '90s, the early 2000s, even the mid 2000s. Football has evolved so much over the last, I dare say, 30 years.
Oh yeah,
it's honestly crazy.
It's always changing, but keep in mind, these are just suggestions or mock drafts.
Right.
I mean, it's essentially what it is, mock drafts.
Because to tell you the truth,
tomorrow could be a whole new different book for all we know. I mean, look at New York Giants with their one of their top 10 picks, and
they have 2 in the first round.
Right, but they have not drafted very good, and they drafted a quarterback who was projected to be in the second or third round.
Right.
He was in the top 10.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 5 points, Vince. I really am.
Yeah.
Get the plunger ready.
Yeah, get the plunger ready.
All right, moving on to pick 2.
Right. Pick number 2. Here's what we know. Detroit Lions have the second pick in the first round, right behind Jacksonville. What we know so far, Detroit needs a QB, a defensive lineman, and a cornerback. Say that again. They need a QB, defensive lineman, and a cornerback. All right. So, Smitty, I surprisingly, even though they need a quarterback, according to this list, as their number 1 priority, I got them going Sauce Gardner, the cornerback, the highest-rated cornerback, and probably the best prospect in this year's NFL Draft Combine. out of Cincinnati.
Pick him?
Yeah, I have Sauce Gardner going to the Detroit Lions. Even though they need a QB, you have Jared Goff taking snaps in Detroit.
I mean, that doesn't really build confidence, though.
No, it doesn't build confidence, but you have somebody that's played a few seasons in the NFL. I mean, you remember the trade between the Rams? Stafford left Detroit, goes to L.A., Jared leaves L.A., comes to Detroit. Now, granted, Jared don't have the weapons that Matt Stafford had, i.e., look at L.A. winning the Super Bowl literally this year. So I have a sneaking suspicion that if Detroit was smart, and no, I'm not saying they're dumb, I'm just putting myself in their shoes, just to be fair, why would you want to pass on a guy like Sauce Gardner? He could be phenomenal for your secondary and your corners. Bring a guy like that in and just kind of work around him. Next year's draft, which I'm getting ahead of myself, is supposed to be stacked with QB talent. So if I'm thinking, okay, I need a quarterback, let's get by with Jared Goff this year. Let's get Sauce Gardner. Let's try to beef up this defense.
Now, keep in mind that the later rounds they could potentially pick a quarterback perspective.
But I'm going according to the prospects that may or may not be on the draft board, the second round, or even at pick 56. You got to keep in mind, what is it? Is it 30-something picks each round?
I think it's 32, I believe.
Yeah, 32 picks each round. So you think that's a lot of picks. And, there's a lot of teams out there that are hungry to get prospects just based on reputation, popularity.
Need.
Yep.
Well, either that based on need, stats, and scheming as well.
Right.
But I got here Detroit Lions picking Trayvon Walker for defensive end for Georgia.
Okay, that's fair. I won't even rebuttal that.
It's a really needed position, especially with that god awful defense in this season. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Detroit had played their hearts out despite their record and all that.
Absolutely.
They were playing for their coach and their staff, and they were really getting behind him.
Right.
I mean, shoot, they could have won that game in week 3 against the Ravens until the kick of God, that 66-yard field goal. Yeah. I mean, that was an amazing kick.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, I bet even Coach Campbell would be like, I lost, but dadgum, that's a good kick.
I mean, you got to give props where it's due, right? So moving to the third pick in the first round, the Houston Texans have the third pick, and what we know so far is they need a defensive lineman, a cornerback, and they need an offensive lineman. Now, Smitty, Houston is one of those teams every year that they'll get a decent pick here and there in the first round, second round, and they always seem to fall off. They can never seem to be consistent. So I have them going Aiden Hutchinson. I have them going the defensive end out of Michigan.
Really?
Smitty, I could potentially – now, my mock draft is based on high priority need. Jacksonville needed a linebacker. Detroit really needed a quarterback, but that's kind of a moot point. So I had them going corner. Houston really needs a defensive lineman. Why not get Aiden Hutchinson at number 3? I just think Jacksonville would be wasting a pick if they go Aiden Hutchinson in the first round.
Well, they also need an offensive tackle, though.
Well, they need a lot of things. Hey, can we get 11 picks in one round? It just don't work that way.
That would have to go. They would have to do a lot of fat cutting on that.
Yeah.
But they had Akeem Ikwonu from North Carolina State, and they really need an offensive players on that team, because I mean you can have the quintessential quarterback and the wide receivers and tight ends, but if you don't have that O-line and with people to help block and all that, what point is there?
Right.
I mean, the Texans have the capacity to be a great team.
Absolutely.
Their management has been poor, though.
And that goes into the business side of it, which we want to kind of tell you guys. The NFL, even though it is a sport, it's also a business. And if you have people in the front office that can't get on the same page, then what is I can't see a coach wanting to come to an organization that butts heads all the time. There's got to be some give and some take. You got your guys in the front office that secure your draft picks. You have your people that budget finances to be able to pay your players and run your facilities. And Houston, I think a major part of the problem is they, I dare say, overpay for some players, Smitty, and that's just my personal opinion about that. i.e. Deshaun Watson, the salary he was making, but he had the no trade clause in his contract, I believe was the legality of it. And then all of a sudden he requests the trade to Cleveland. So, you got to understand this is a business. And so just as well as draft picks are important, like what kind of quality player you get, I need to make sure I've got a solid GM that I can trust, because if I'm the owner of a team, and I got a GM that's trying to spite me, like, at every turn, the business side of it is not always pretty, and business is business. If I'm that guy,
it can be very cutthroat.
Right.
I mean, it really is.
And that's just how it is, and that's the real side of it. It's still a business portion, a business aspect to the league. And if I got a guy like that, up under me trying to undermine everything, I'm thinking, man, you're on the chopping block. You got to go. Like, you're bad for business. So I still, nonetheless, I got Houston going, Aiden Hutchinson. They need to beef up their defense. But there's really nothing else that can be said to highlight Houston, because they're one of those mediocre teams. I mean, they just never seem to be in the playoff conversation. I don't think their future is very bright. Maybe give them 5-10 more years, and maybe we'll see where we're at down the road.
It all depends, yeah.
So.
All right, pick number 4. I'll go ahead and start this
Go
off.
ahead.
For the New York Jets.
Lowell Jets.
The understatement. For this.
You can't say anything because it's the Jets.
Well,
I wouldn't be able to either.
I mean, not really much to say. But they got, for this pick that I got from the website,
Okay.
they got Ahmed Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati as number 4 pick.
If I was Sauce, I'd hold out. I'd do an Eli Manning like 2004 all over again.
Really, though?
Dude, when the San Diego Chargers, I remember I was like 13, 14, and San Diego was like, we want Eli, and Eli's like, no, I don't want to play for you. So he held out. They worked out a trade, and Eli ends up going to the New York Giants. I mean, who wants to go play for the Jets?
I mean,
But let's be honest. If you go play for the Jets, it's only because of the money. It's not because you honestly think you have a chance
money.
of winning.
Hey, money talks.
Touche. But I'm just making a point. You don't go because you think you have a future in winning a Super Bowl with the Jets.
I mean, look at
That's like saying I'm going to Jacksonville because I want to win the AFC Championship. Not happening, buddy. Not happening.
But for this website, for this pick, this mock draft that I pulled up, they have 2 other possibilities for that pick.
Okay.
They had Kayvon
Thibodeau, the edge rusher out of Oregon.
I believe so, yes.
Yep.
And they have Even Neal or Ikeem Ekwonu for the offensive tackle, just in case the pick wasn't chosen previously and all that.
I got to stop you there. When it comes to the 2 tackles, the 2 offensive linemen, Ike Ekwonu and Evan Neal, I say Jets go Bama. Bama produces probably better linemen. And that's no shade at NC State. I'm just saying Bama, statistically has produced better linemen in the draft.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
Defensive linemen or otherwise.
What do you got picked for them?
Okay, so we know that the Jets need a defensive lineman, wide receiver, and corner. Smitty, in my mock draft, I got them going Jordan Davis, the big guy out of Georgia, the one that specifically ran like a 4-something-40. He's over 300 pounds, big guy, Jordan Davis. I don't know if you caught that highlight. Some of you watching may know what I'm talking about. Big guy out of Georgia. I think he was number 97 on the defensive line.
Well, yeah, I've read that. Yes.
Arguably had the best speed of any defensive lineman, which was fast.
That's fast for a big guy.
For a big guy like that, I mean, I think it was like a 4.7.
I'd be scared if
you're 300-something pounds and you're running at me at like 4.7. I'm getting out of the way. I want no contact.
Well, you just grit your teeth and just go and take the hit.
Yeah, I could see the Jets. In all seriousness, I could see the Jets going with Jordan Davis because they need to beef up their defense. They need a lot of things, as does probably about 10 or 15 other teams in the league right now. Right. But we're talking about the Jets, so I see.
Anything can happen. I mean, if the New York Giants can screw up their past 4 picks. Yeah. I mean, all that. Speaking of the Giants, pick number 5.
Oh, man.
I got this website's got Evan Neal going to New York Jets.
Okay,
New York Giants. I'm sorry. I mean, they both are terrible, but
they share the same stadium for a reason.
Oh well, that's a curse.
That's a proven fact. They actually swap out the stadium.
Oh.
They have different home and away games. They schedule it like that. I watched a video where it was behind the scenes where their crew went in when the Jets are playing at that stadium. They have to deck it all out, and they got it set up to where they just change the field out, they change the logo out, and it's like boom, 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 boom. Like that crew moves up there.
Wow. Well, props to the crew.
Yeah. Probably should hire them to be on the football team.
Yeah, they're probably more efficient.
Yeah.
But I have a funny feeling the Giants are going to screw this pick up. I have a gut
What do you
feeling.
got against the Giants, man? Easy.
Daniel Jones.
Oh, the guy that got tackled by a ghost? The man breaks like a 50, 60-yard run. I can't get over this. This man had wide open field, and he's just running. He's thinking, man, I want to score. And then it's just like, whoop, boom, face plant.
Oh, man.
Like, who tackled you, man? There was nobody within 10 feet of you. What happened? Tie your cleats.
Well, he made Casper mad. I don't know how to explain that.
Casper was
I
not
mean-
a friendly ghost on this particular day. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No. Well, I just have a gut feeling they're going to mess this up. I think they're going to get another quarterback in the top 10 picks.
They probably will. I mean, Daniel Jones is obviously not the guy. He's had, 3 seasons now? Mm-hmm. And his numbers are actually statistically going down. So it's like, why am I paying you if you're not improving?
All right, let me play devil's advocate. I mean, does he really have a good line in front of him?
Okay,
does he have?
Okay, you got me.
I mean,
I'm on
Evan
That's a fair
Ingram. I
point.
mean, he's got. Well, I can't say Evan Ingram because he doesn't have hands, but it's just.
Odell Beckham Jr. is not there anymore. We know that.
I know, but he's got good hair.
Yeah, I wish I had his hair. Anyway, we're getting off topic here.
Yes.
Let me stop you there. We know that the Giants need an offensive lineman, linebacker, and a tight end, Smitty. So with that, I have them going Evan Neal. I would say that's pretty accurate. I could see them going
I'm
offensive
surprised
lineman.
we got the same pick.
That
Wow.
one we did. That one we did because you're on a different website than I am. I just
Well,
did up a
wait,
mock draft.
Hey, I have
you
to be the contrarian here.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes this more dynamic.
Yep.
Moving on to pick number 6, we got the Carolina Panthers.
Who
This
desperately need a quarterback. Like literally, I'm thinking about calling my mom and seeing if she wants to go try out for the Carolina.
Why don't
Panthers
you
team.
try out?
No thanks. I haven't played football in over 10 years.
I had never played football. Well, I played football one time.
I am a professional chip eater, soda drinker, and I like to watch other teams and criticize them. That is what I'm good at.
Oh, so you're the armchair quarterback. then.
Yes, as is probably 90% of our fan base.
Well, I'll say this: last time I played football of any kind is when it was a after band camp get together.
Every good story starts with after band camp.
Well, this didn't have a happy ending. I sent a tuba player to the hospital. Like, no joke. I broke him.
Okay.
I broke him.
How dare you single out the tuba player?
Hey, he had the football.
That's
I'm
a
sorry.
golden rule, man. You don't do that. Go
Hey,
for one of the drummers.
He
Like, they're
had the
tougher.
football. I'm sorry. I was on defense. He had the football. Oh, I got to take you down. I mean, I'm sorry.
The Hamilton Porter of football.
Anyway, I got the Carolina Panthers. Well, this website's got the Carolina Panthers choosing Charles Cross from Mississippi State, offensive tackle.
Offensive tackle. Okay.
Well, they need the front line.
Okay, well, I'm going to jump in feet first on this. We know that Carolina desperately needs a quarterback. They need an offensive and a defensive line. Probably all 5 positions or 4, depending on which side of the ball you are. I have Malik Willis, the quarterback out of Liberty University, going to the Panthers. Smitty, their offense probably could potentially be tailored to fit his skill set. He's a mobile QB. He can throw on the run. He can get out of the pocket when he needs to, and he can sit in the pocket, as long as he's got time. He just needs a few seconds. I have Malik Willis going to the Carolina Panthers over Kenny Pickett, the guy at the University of Pittsburgh. Those were arguably the 2 best quarterbacks in this year's draft, but I'd say Malik was probably just a slight edge over Kenny.
No, this website also had another possibilities under that pick as
Go ahead.
Malik Willis as quarterback, as well as Evan Neal and Akeem Ikwanu. That sounds like I'm saying iguana. I'm sorry.
Iguano?
Shut up. But this website says that I think they're going to go tackle. That's what they believe. They're going to go tackle and use the other picks that they have to fill in those gaps.
And I could be totally wrong. I mean, they may stick with Sam Darnold, and just try to give him some time. I mean, I know he's been with them a few years, the USC guy.
Wait, Sam Sean goes Darnold? Really?
Yep. I mean, it's a business. We're just guessing at it. It's not like we have a business degree or we know what we're doing. We're just giving fan-sided perspective, which is what Chipola Fifth Quarter is all about. So feel free to bash us. I mean, I really don't care. We're just giving our opinions like you guys are. The only difference is we're brave enough to get in front of a camera and tell you what our opinion is.
Yeah. We have, I wouldn't say confidence. We're just a glutton for punishment.
It's the name of the game. So moving on, due to time constraints, at number 7, I have the Giants with the 7th pick. I have them going Ike Ekwonu out of NC State. Smitty, I see them going tackle.
Tackle for
two
that
tackles.
pick?
I see them going Evan Neal, the 5th pick, as I said earlier, and I see them going in the 7th pick to Ike Ekwonu. I see them loading up at the tackle position.
Well, this website in particular chose Derek Stingley from LSU.
The cornerback, interesting.
Yes, they desperately need that.
As I've said
that
before,
position.
They need a bunch of positions. But due to time constraints, Smitty, I'm going to move forward. At number 8, I got the Falcons going Kenny Pickett, the QB out of Pitt. They got Marcus Mariota to a 2-year deal, what we know.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Marcus Mariota, the guy out of Oregon, he signed a 2-year deal with Atlanta, I want to say it was a few weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago.
Well, I get that, but you're choosing him?
Yeah, I think Kenny Pickett's good enough to go play with the Falcons. Why did I miss something here?
Oh, they need defensive line. They need a defensive end.
Atlanta needs a lot of things, like maybe a relocation.
I mean, ooh.
Look, I like Atlanta. I go there a lot. I got family in Georgia.
Listen. Hey, give Atlanta some slack. I mean, they got a World Series over there.
The Braves won the World Series, which I am a huge Braves fan. I was appreciative of that.
Give them some slack. I mean, hopefully Atlanta Falcons can just get that 28-3 off their backs and go after it. They got this website's got Kayvon
Thibodeau.
Oh, however you pronounce that name. I am not good with words.
Sounds Cajun.
I mean, it's from
Is he from Louisiana by chance?
He's from Oregon.
But it sounds Cajun. Thibodeau, Boudreaux, Thibodeau,
Okay.
Go, Geaux.
Okay, just let's go to the next pick before you embarrass yourself more.
It was an English lesson, man. Thanks for the confidence boost. Anyway, at number 9, I have Seattle going Trent McDuffie. I believe he's a cornerback. And at number 10, Smitty, to wrap this up, I have Kayvon Thibodeau, the edge rusher out of Oregon, going at number 10 to the Jets.
Thibodeau? Well, for
Thibodeau?
Well, for 9 and 10, I got the Seahawks. Seattle. See how? They got Florida State's own Jermaine Johnson. I can't speak today. Don't laugh at me.
His English grades are showing Chipola.
Hush. I got
Jermaine Johnson, the second out of Florida State.
Yeah,
that's
defensive
fair.
end.
I definitely see him being within the top 10. I remember some people that.
Now they can also pick Derek Stingley or Trevor Penning as well.
I think Derek Stingley will be gone before then. I could see them getting Jermaine Johnson. I went and watched him at the Miami game this past season. Some good friends of ours had tickets, and we went to Tallahassee for the Miami Hurricanes game. And I remember watching that guy up close. Some of the plays he made, like he literally carried that defense.
Oh yeah, And for New York Jets at number 10, they've chosen Garrett Wilson from Ohio State.
The wide receiver. Okay, I actually kind of missed him. I forgot. Ohio State has produced a couple of decent. Was it Drake London or is that you the USC guy? I believe Drake London. You can let me know in the comments, Chipola Nation. But I believe Drake London was the guy to USC. He's another wide receiver whose name is being tossed in the first round. Mm-hmm. I don't know what pick per se, but Smitty, that's my mock draft. Now
for the first 10 picks.
Yeah, for the first 10 picks at least. But you could turn on the TV tomorrow and laugh at us.
Completely wrong.
I'm gonna be eating my bag of Cheetos, going, well, that was awkward.
I have a funny feeling that the next time we record, we're going to be like,
no,
okay.
I got it.
Oh, what?
Jacksonville is going to shock everybody. The number 1 pick overall in the draft, guess who they're drafting?
Surprise me.
Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. Uncle Rico is coming back, and he's going to literally make it to the NFL.
That's impossible. He's running for president.
It doesn't matter. He can do both.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He can play football and run the country if he wants to. Anyway, Chipola Nation, thank you guys. That's all the time we have for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for making this a success, and we will see you guys soon to talk some more football.
Take it easy.